Through the inside, go. We competing today.
No, there you go.
We're moving, we're moving.
This is Jets Game Day with Robert Saleh, presented by FanDuel.
Good morning. After splitting 2 games over 5 days, the New York Jets are 2-6 after 8 games. Coming up, we'll check in with Jets GM Joe Douglas and hear from both Ethan Greenberg and Brian Baldinger. But we start this morning with a different look, but the fellas are here. Bart Scott, Leger Douzable. Leger, it was a crazy week for the green and white, and the roller coaster ride continues for these young Jets.
Yeah, it was a tough game, especially for the defense. If you talk about Robert Saleh being a defensive-minded head coach, that's supposed to be your calling card, but the defense didn't play particularly well, especially in their run defense. And you knew what the Indianapolis Colts were going to bring to the table. You knew with that offensive line, with Jonathan Taylor and Nyheim Hines, they were going to try to run the ball effectively. They didn't want to put too much on Carson Wentz. And, more specifically, the defensive line did not, stand up to the task. Guys were out of their gaps. Guys were, backdooring blocks. They didn't play blocks really, really well. And, C.J. Mosley and Jared Davis took a brunt of those hits from the offensive line. So, you want to take a hard look in the mirror if you're on this defense, because it wasn't anything schematically that they could have did any different. Guys just did not play well. They got out physical. They got punched in the mouth. And as a defender, that's the worst thing that could ever happen to you.
Bart, let's flip to the opposite side of the ledger, though. The Jets' 997 yards against the Colts and the Bengals in back-to-back games are the third most in franchise history. How impressed have you been by Mike LaFleur and the work of this unit?
Well, I have to tip my hat to Mike LaFleur in that unit, right? Because they balled out, they were consistent, and you feel for Mike White, having the injury, but he showed that, he can come down and match put a drive together that's needed as the Colts went up 7-0. It was important that they answered. He went down. You talk about 7 for 11, playing well. You feel for him, hurting the forearm, but it's good news, the fact that he says he, got better as the game went on. But you got to tip your hat to Josh Johnson, right? This is just a credit to that entire room, because as guys continue to go down, guys step up, and it has truly been next man up. Michael Carter, solid day. Elijah Moore, you have to tip your hat, 2 touchdowns on primetime TV, and you have to say, listen, let's keep this going. We'll get the defense fixed. Let's figure it out on the defense side of the ball. But if they continue to be able to put this type of productivity on the offensive side of the ball, they're going to find themselves in a lot of football games.
Leger, Bart just pointed it out. The Jets did that with 2 backup quarterbacks in Josh Johnson, who threw for 317 yards and 3 touchdowns against the Colts, and Mike White, who, of course, the week before threw for 405 yards and 3 touchdowns against the Bengals. What does it say collectively about the unit?
Well, if you look at the offense, right, 2 weeks in a row, they've thrown for over 400 yards. So it proves that this offense works. And it's not like they were just taking a lot of shots down the field. Now, Josh Johnson had a couple throws that went over 20 yards in the air, but they took what the defense was giving them, right? And that's the thing that has been harped on. I've been saying this all year. There have been plays to be made on offense. It just comes down to execution. I ultimately believe that Mike LaFleur going up in the booth has helped him too, because he had some amazing play calls, like that screen play that ended up throwing it back across the field. Look, that was an amazing play. I believe it was 3rd and 15 for them to get the first down. So that was a great play call by Mike LaFleur. But this offense has been cooking. You're talking about the last 2 games, they've put up over 30 points, and both quarterbacks combined in each game have thrown for over 400 yards, being able to run the ball at times effectively when they needed to. Now, they were down big in this game, so they were more pass happy. But you have to tip your hat off to Mike LaFleur, and like Bart said, the quarterback room, for just being ready and not doing too much, just living within the offense and taking what the defense is giving you.
All right, coming up after the break, we're calling an audible here. We had a chance to catch up with Jets GM Joe Douglas before his team played the Colts on Thursday Night Football.
Now it's time to go inside the walls, brought to you by FanDuel.
Through 7 games, what has been the high point for you so far?
Well, I think the high point has been watching this staff and these players compete on a day in, day out, week in, week out basis. Just the effort that Coach Saleh and his staff have put into to developing these young players. It's been really fun seeing the team come together, the energy and commitment that you've seen on a day in, day out basis.
Well, day in, day out, what's it been like working with Robert? Because every time your name is brought up, he says, I'm in lockstep with Joe.
Yeah, no doubt. Me and Robert talk all the time, and Robert's been his passion, his energy. It's contagious, and the one thing that's been really cool is our daily communication. We're always bouncing back and forth in each other's office, bouncing ideas off each other, talking through scenarios, situations, and so developing this relationship with him has been really cool. And just again seeing how he communicates with everyone in the building, how he communicates with his staff, how he communicates with the players, being in his team meetings every day. It's been fun to watch.
He's a good leader, but why is he so effective with the young players?
Well, I think Robert's very relatable. I think Robert, he can relate with anybody on this team, whether they're a 10-year pro or a rookie. And he's going to be open. He's honest. He's going to lay out the expectations. He's just going to be very straightforward in the way that he communicates with everybody. And I think everyone appreciates that. Through
7 games, your rookies have the most snaps of anybody in the National Football League. What do you think about this class collectively?
Collectively, it's been fun to see these guys develop since the day they came in rookie minicamp, and collectively as a group, just seeing the work ethic, seeing how guys have started to really come into their own. The commitment, the work ethic, the ability of the staff again to get these guys playing at a high level. Put their trust in these players, and the players reciprocating that trust back to the coaching staff, and starting to see that come together as we get to the midway point of the season.
What was trade deadline day like, and can tell us about the move you made?
Yeah, so a couple moves last week. Obviously, we made the move to bring Joe back. So excited to get Joe. We all know Joe, and Super Bowl champion, and we were able to add another experienced player that started a lot of games, another former Super Bowl champion, and Laurent Duvernay-Tardif. So excited to add him to the team. His toughness, his grit, his experience, his athleticism. We think it's going to be an asset moving forward.
How busy were you on the phones?
You're always busy in the days and weeks leading up to the trade deadline. Just putting as many feelers out there, having conversations with different GMs, different executives around the league. So it's been a busy couple days, but we feel good about where we're positioned now moving forward.
The small sample size with Zach Wilson so far. What have you liked, and also can this step away be good for him?
Yeah, so obviously what jumps out was Zach, the arm talent, the athletic ability. There's not a single throw on the field that Zach can't make. I think if you're an opposing defense, you have to be able to guard every inch of field when Zach's out there. So just the playmaking ability jumps out with Zach, and just the ability to fit balls into tight windows. I think now with Zach getting nicked up a little bit, it's an opportunity for him to see the game from a different vantage point, being upstairs, kind of taking a different view. And I think it's going to be beneficial for him in his development. And we're excited to keep working with him and helping him reach his full potential.
Do you like where you're building this thing on both sides of the line? We talked about AVT before. Mm-hmm. We talked about the veteran tackles stepping up. Mekhi Becton has been out, and then on the other side of the ball, need some key offseason additions. And this defensive line is playing awfully well, even without Carl Lawson. Yeah,
losing Carl was a difficult situation, obviously, and we know he's the right type of player and the right type of person, as I said earlier in the year. But these guys, they didn't blink, they didn't flinch, and guys like John Franklin Myers, Foley Fatukasi, Sheldon Rankins, Bryce Huff, Shaq Lawson, saw the game-changing play he made last week against Cincinnati. They've all stepped up. They've all played their butts off. So again, it's a credit to them, credit to Coach Ulbrich and Coach White Cotton and Coach Ollie, and the work that they've put in with these guys, and it's good. It's good to see how these guys grind every day.
Can you talk about short term, where you guys are in terms of the culture, and then also long term in terms of how you got it positioned with the draft capital, 9 picks coming up?
Yeah, I think short term with the culture. I mean, coach, really says it all with his mantra. The all gas, no brake, and the mindset of these guys to create the strain, and that every single yard matters on this field. And you hear the term, give us a blade of grass and we'll defend it. That's a mindset that he's created. So we feel good about the young guys that have come in and bought into that. But at the same time, we feel good about how we're positioned in the future with draft capital and the assets we have.
Yeah, and the financial flexibility.
Absolutely.
Lastly, what do you want to see from this group over the last, it's going to be 9 games?
Yeah, so for these last games, obviously the continual improvement and development of the team. And I feel like it's a really unique blend of the vets and obviously all these rookies and second-year players. So it's gonna be important for them to really just keep approaching every day with the same mindset that they've had, knowing that there's going to be peaks and valleys along the way, but stay together and battle through the tough times together. And we're going to keep climbing the mountain.
Thanks, Joe.
Yep, thanks, Eric.
Jets Game Day with Robert Saleh is brought to you by Pepsi, the official soft drink of the New York Jets. Coming up, Brian Baldinger rolls the tape on the Jets, and Ethan Greenberg will preview Week 9 in the AFC East. Stay tuned. Jets Game Day with Robert Saleh is brought to you by FanDuel.
Hey, this is Brian Baldinger for Jets Game Day, and I want to talk about the performance of Josh Johnson on Thursday night. Josh Johnson entered the game with 13 minutes and 24 seconds to go in the second quarter. He made this throw right here on a wheel route to Tyler Kroft against Darius Leonard. Perfect throw for 26 yards. He would lead him to 3 touchdown drives. Now, here he is changing the play, all right? For a high-low concept against a predictable coverage. And he's going to high-low here, Denzel Mims in the tight end on the delay, and make the right read. Stick throw to Mims for 20 yards. And his first touchdown pass came to Elijah Moore here. A play-action bootleg on a deep over to Moore. Moore's second touchdown catch of the day, just a whip of a throw, and Moore was in the end zone. His second touchdown pass came to Ryan Griffin right here. A 3-receiver side, just going to run a little stick nod against the inside linebacker and get behind him, and he sees it, and he beats the safety from the other side, Odom, to be able to find his second touchdown pass. He competed the entire second half. You watch him here on this 3rd and 10. He gets outside the pocket, still has the speed and athleticism to beat the linebacker right there for 11 yards and a first down. All the way to the final drive, when he makes this throw to Jeff Smith on the out route, just put it right on him. I mean, he can't really throw the ball any better than that. Josh Johnson came in and just really competed like heck. And, the offense moved, put up 3 touchdown passes.
This is the AFC East Roundup.
Taking a look around the AFC East, the Jets and Colts already played Thursday night, but let's focus on today, where 3 teams all play at 1 p.m. And let's start in South Florida, where the Dolphins take on the Texans. Miami's on a 7-game losing streak, and they fell to the Bills last weekend. Wide receiver Devontae Parker returned to action after missing 3 games with a hamstring injury, but the Dolphins couldn't find a lot of success through the air. Tua Tagovailoa threw for 205 yards and an interception. Houston also 1-7, coming off a 38-22 loss to the Rams. But don't let the score fool you, because the Texans scored all of their points in the 4th quarter once LA pulled its starters. And let's move north, but keep it in the Sunshine State. Buffalo is in Jacksonville, and they're going to take on the 1-6 Jaguars. Wide receiver Stephon Diggs found the end zone last weekend against Miami, and Cole Beasley reached the century mark with 10 catches for 110 yards. The Jaguars, on the other hand, they're coming off a 31-7 loss in Seattle. The 5-2 Bills kick off a 3-game stretch against opponents that have a combined 6-16 record. And let's finish where the Jets opened up their season, in Carolina. The Patriots take on the Panthers as both teams are 4-4, and New England's defense, well, they're coming off another impressive performance, picking off Chargers quarterback Justin Herbert twice last weekend and a 27-24 win. Mac Jones had a decent outing, throwing for 218 yards while playing turnover-free football. And Nick Folk continues his impressive season. He's only missed one field goal all year. He leads the NFL with 20 made, and he made another 4 last weekend against LA. Are the Bills poised to move to 6-2? Will the Patriots climb above 500 for the first time this season? And will the Dolphins put an end to their losing skid? Kickoff is around the corner.
Don't go away. We're back with final thoughts after this. Jets Game Day with Robert Saleh is brought to you by MetLife.
Welcome back. Eric Allen with Bart Scott and Leger Douzable. Bart, how big of a loss would it be for this defense if Marcus May is out of the lineup for an extended amount of time?
Well, I'll tell you what, man. First of all, your heart goes out for the young man, understanding that this is the moment that he's been waiting for, an opportunity to be a free agent and to kind of be a culmination of all the hard work he's put since he's been a Jet. And now he's going to be battling an injury and trying to come back. The defense is going to struggle. He's the air controller in the back, right, so to speak. He's the guy that's getting guys into, the checks, making the checks, the verbal, nonverbal communication, the hand gestures. He's a guy that's the eraser back there. He's a guy that's, responsible if someone gets behind. He's the last line of defense, and he does that at a high level. This defense, you can't replace him with one person. You have to try and collectively come together, and everybody has to do a little bit more. But now you're going to have to share the responsibilities of the communication and also the ability to be down in the box and be multiple.
Leger, overall, we've kind of seen a flip here for the Jets. The defense was shining early, and now it's the offense that's coming on. What can the defense do to return to form?
Yeah, it's what we've talked about throughout the show. It's complementary football. Like, both units need to be clicking on all cylinders. In the beginning of the year, the defense was playing really well. The offense struggled. But the last few weeks, it's been flipped. The offense has played at a high level, and the defense has seemed to struggle. So to me, it's all about just the fundamentals. That's literally what last night's game came down to. It came down to physicality, which you never wanted to ever come down to. I would say that game and the New England game, and then just the fundamentals, knowing where you're supposed to be, handling your responsibilities, not doing too much. We heard Jared Davis come out and say during that long touchdown run from Jonathan Taylor, he kind of tried to backdoor to try to make something happen and make a play. But it's about the unit collectively doing their jobs together. Plays will come to you. Just do your responsibility, play with fundamentals, and the ball will come to you. Don't try to be Superman and make every single play. Just play within the defense, execute your fundamentals, and the ball will come to you. So they just got to get back to doing their fundamentals and playing with technique.
Bart, you were a leader on every defense you played on. If you're C.J. Mosley right now, what are you saying to the rest of this young group?
Well, listen, we have a long week. We have 10 days in between our next contest. We're not going to bury this game so fast. It's just a lot of good teaching tape. We have to get in there, whether you're with the coaches or you're in a players only film session, you have to hold each other accountable, right? Because it's important listen, I don't need you to farm my land, farm your own land, because if you're not doing, what you're supposed to do inside the constructions of the defense, then now, even if you make a play, next time I don't know where you can be. And defense is all about accountability, doing your job, not trying to be a superhero. Like Douzable said, you have to try and do what you're supposed to do, mind your own land, and make sure that you hold each other accountable so that we can get it fixed. If you're going outside the construct, so now the coach has to correct 2 players, not 1. And that's what it's all about. It's going to be a tough film session because, it's one thing to lose schematically. It's another thing to be physically dominated. And that's what the Jets were. They're physically dominated. The good news is there's only a couple of outfits in this league that is capable of physically dominating you that way. And I think this is a reality check for that defensive line that were feeling good about themselves and had been, getting a lot of praise. Now they have to first look themselves in the mirror and see how they can be better.
Next week, of course, at MetLife Stadium, the Jets will come home and play host to the division-leading Buffalo Bills. For Leger Douzable and Bart Scott, I'm Eric Allen. Enjoy your football Sunday.